We find sweet Kizzy standing at the funeral as though she's a well-wisher, but we can see she's not part of the family. She is listening to the old man speak of his great love that has passed. No words or explanations are needed to convey that Kizzy knows she will never make it to the end of a long life with the one she loves. Her story won't be complete, nor will she grow old. She will be young forever. Here's a cool surprise. Kizzy's also going to narrate for you throughout the movie. A little something different, and I like it. I must admit that her voice seems very mature for her face, and that took me back for a minute. A minor thing, I agree, but it happened.
पर लाइफ में हैप्पी एंडिंग नहीं होती.
Kizzy says she goes to the funeral to hug the ones left behind and possibly take some of their loneliness with her, and maybe leave some of hers behind. Such a deep young lady, so mature, but still a child. Her mom is going to call looking for her, and we will soon discover that mom, Mrs. Besu, is very protective and nagging in a loving way. Her daughter is sick, and mom will do anything to protect her, including smothering her. Her mom is very young looking and pretty, and it's important to note that she looks worried, scared, and tired. This is not a criticism at all, just an observation about how the battle is also being fought by others.
Yes, मुझे कैंसर है, थायराइड कैंसर.
Kizzy says that she takes medicine day and night and longs for a regular life. She wants to play sports and crush on boys and just be like all the other girls. I'm losing it, she tells herself. But she's not. Losing it, that is. This is what almost every girl wants, and boys too for that matter. Regular, just normal. Basic is how teenagers describe sad, pathetic, basic people or things. It's intimidating and insulting. No mom wants to be called this by their teenage daughter, but this is what Kizzy wants most. It's not only desired, but it's also needed. It's going to be established early that Kizzy has bomb-ass parents. They're both supportive and loving, and dad's very open-minded to her needs and wants. They too are struggling with her illness, but they all love through it, and it shows throughout the movie. A young girl this sick and a life cut this short needs as much love as it can hold while it can. They're good people and strong people, and I appreciate how open and honest they come across. Abimanya Veer. This name means nothing to us, but to Kizzy, he's everything.
He's my favorite musician.
And he's the greatest musician of all time to Kizzy. He's her Elvis Presley in a way. Mr. Veer is a musician, and he wrote Kizzy's favorite song of all time, but he left it incomplete. This proves to be powerful and moving for our sweet girl because she must know the song will end. She has made the incomplete song a bit of a parallel story to her life's journey. She wants to meet him. It is her only wish. This will work its way through the movie. We'll come back to Kizzy and Mr. Veer shortly. Kizzy will carry with her everywhere and always an oxygen tank that helps her breathe because she gets very winded at times. She carries it in a cute little backpack that she's decorated with buttons and such, and it never leaves her side. Throughout, they will refer to it as though it's a real thing, like a person.
ये सिलेंडर ये मेरा बेस्ट फ्रेंड पुष्पिंदर.
She calls it Pushpinder. Kizzy sees Manny for the first time when he's posing and laughing with his friend that we'll later know as JP. And this guy's funny and has such a lust for life, as does Manny. So this is your main character, and he's truly a lead. You're going to love him. Anyway, they're best buds, Manny and JP, and they live life out loud for sure. So Manny is posing for pics when Kizzy sees him for the first time. He flirts a bit, and she smiles coyly. Typical meet cute. A little wink wink from Manny. There will be a scene here when they end up at what can only be described as India's Got Talent, and Manny will steal the stage and the show, and Kizzy will adore and act like she hates it. But later at home, when she types her blog, we know she secretly loved it. She wants to see him again. She may be sick, but she's smart and knows you can't give in that easily. It's all about the chase, right, Kizzy? Our lovebirds will officially meet while Kizzy's waiting for her mom and rickshaw at the bus stop after the show. His full name is Emmanuel Rajkumar Jr., Manny for short. She says, "My name is Kizzy," and Manny says, "Kissy." She explains it means like a latch, one that always stays with you. That's beautiful.
तुम होगे चिपकू.
The next day at the hospital, Kizzy is treated and seen by Dr. Jha. She will run into Manny and JP yet again. They both have had cancer as well and attended counseling along with her and many others. Dr. Jha is a very kind man and he's close with all his patients. He makes opening up and talking with their peers and him part of their journey, and he's overall just a lovely man. JP, our funny guy and Manny's sidekick, has a type of eye cancer, but is a movie director and it's his passion. He has already lost one eye to cancer and is due soon for another surgery where he will lose his sight completely. It's heartbreaking, but you You can see that he won't allow it to take his passion of being a filmmaker away. In fact, he and Manny are currently working on a project now, and they're in desperate need of a heroine. They have plans to finish their movie before JP's surgery. Then it's Manny's turn to speak. He had cancer as well, osteosarcoma, and it took his right leg. But you'd never know. He's active, happy, and spunky. He seems to be in remission at the time. We can see that all this info takes Kizzy by surprise, but she isn't won over by our Manny just yet. He will follow her like a lost puppy to the bus stop and be his typical troublemaker self, all flirty and whatnot. Manny will meet Mrs. Basu here for the first time, and she knows his type, or so she thinks. Mom is not impressed. Manny drives a motorcycle with a sidecar, and this will carry them all over throughout the movie. It's kinda his thing. Manny takes Kizzy to his favorite spot that looks out over the water, and they talk.
It's beautiful.
And Manny flirts, and Kizzy decides to open up to him about Mr. Veer and his music. Manny doesn't like the music, and Kizzy is immediately angry and heartbroken. He didn't give it a chance and was even a bit rude. We know Kizzy feels so strongly about his song, and she can't tolerate this from him. But she knows that Manny needs a heroine for his movie, and he wants her. So she says she'll do it if he will listen to Mr. Veer's album. A proper, honest listen. Manny is a smart guy and knows he has to follow through. Manny will listen to the album, he will feel the words and experience the music, and we will see him going from room to room with headphones on. Manny will fall in love with the album as well. He will run to Kizzy. He sneaks in her window here and will do it throughout the movie. He will admit to Kizzy how much he loves the album and says they need to find the musician and they need to have him complete the song. They are both so happy and light, and Kizzy will be his heroine. Okay, so we are officially entering the love part of this love story now, and
Shot number 8, take number 8. Action!
we're here for it. Our lovelies will be filming and they're happy. It appears that they are making a funny movie with Manny in an awful wig, and he seems to be the hero, always rescuing his heroine. Can I just say how great movie montages are? So much happens in such a short time, and the music is always great, and usually our cast is happy and accomplishes so much. Montage equals happiness. During our movie-making montage, life will pass as it does, and Kizzy will continue to take meds, and she'll visit the doctor, and she'll get tests done. Her health will sustain, and I must say that love looks so good on Kizzy. Her hair grows a bit longer, and she seems a bit stronger. Getting better each day, it kind of looks like, and they're happy and they're in love. Unfortunately, life went on for JP as well, and our filmmaker will lose his other eye. The film they're making will have to be put on hold. JP also loses his girlfriend during this time, but it seems she may come back later. This is unclear, but JP is such a happy guy that it's unimportant. Manny is not doing well with Mom so far, and when he comments that her food is saltless, she's really not liking this guy much. This is a much-needed, light-hearted part in the movie. Dad uses the moment to use Manny to be heard about the salt.
तुमको खाना पसंद नहीं है?
It plays out funny, and we gather Mom may not be a very good cook. So Manny's going to surprise Kizzy here and let her know that he has made contact with Mr. Veer and that he loves that they love the song. When Kizzy realizes she can communicate with Mr. Veer and he will respond, everything changes for her. She seemed to have never thought of just sending an email like Manny had, and it seemed so simple. So she writes her own email. She explains to Mr. Veer that his song has changed her life and that she often hears his words and wonders what her family and Manny will be like when she's gone, how those words will resonate for them when they hear them after she's gone. She explains that she doesn't have much time and would love to hear the song completed. We find our lovebirds at prom, and they're dancing, and Kizzy's oxygen tank is a third wheel, but they accept it and even find ways to make light of it. Kizzy will say of this night that falling in love is like falling asleep, slowly, then all at once. Through the course of getting to know each other, Kizzy and Manny will often talk on the phone till all hours. Oh, I remember the days. Anyway, they'll talk, and one night they end up with Manny saying, "Siri." Kizzy wants to know what this means, and he says it means okay, and she says this will be our word from now on. This is so sweet. So Kizzy is going to get an email back from Mr. Veer telling Kizzy anytime she's in Paris she can come see him. She is over the moon and tells her parents and her doctor that she wants to go. Her mother, of course, thinks this is insane, and her dad feels that the doctor would know best.
Let me talk to Dr. Jha.
Manny loves the idea and wants to push it forward. Manny and Kizzy's dad will have a lovely talk, where Manny tells him he will feel just as amazing if he makes her dream come true. He admits he loves her, and her dad agrees to let her go. Mom, Kizzy, and Manny. But that night, Kizzy will have a very bad bout with her cancer, and she has to be rushed to the hospital. She says cancer can't stand your happiness. Kizzy's in the hospital and refuses to see Manny. She doesn't want him to see her that way. She feels broken and scared and just can't face her true love in that state. Kizzy will go home and Manny will be there. He will always be there because his heart is with her always. He tells her that, in fact, and he will not leave her side again. They will make their way to Paris to see Mr. Veer, and they will have a huge adventure. Manny and her mom will get closer on this trip, and mom knows love when she sees it. They're living with the time they have right now, and it's so amazing to see our couple happy and carefree for once. Here in Paris, they will finally have their first special kiss. Well worth the wait for both of them. But as with every sweet love story, we need a villain, and we will find him in Mr. Veer. Mr. Veer, we find out, has lost someone he loved dearly, and he's never gotten over it. This is why the song is incomplete. He's too broken to finish. But instead of sharing his story with them, he starts making horrible jokes and awkward interactions. He is cruel, and Kizzy is so confused. Manny's getting upset. And it's not the story they wanted. They put everything into this journey, and it wasn't turning out at all like they wanted. They will leave very disappointed. This is where they say you should never meet your idol. Manny will tell Kizzy that before they left, he had a PET scan and the machine lit up with all the cancer in his body. He's dying. When they return home, it gets bad, very bad. And honestly, this is where I want to turn the movie off, but we can't. We've come this far and we have to know their journey, their story. We are here to witness their lives and we will follow through. Manny will be in and out of the hospital, and each time it gets more bleak. He will avoid Kizzy as well, but she won't have it. Manny will lean on his family, and we will see those around him coming to terms with his fate. This is what they will need to give them and us some hope. They will in fact finish their movie, and it's a masterpiece. Even JP will direct with someone else being his eyes. We will laugh and cry, and it's beautiful. Kizzy's parents even make the cut, and Manny looks happy while filming. There's a very tragic scene in here where Manny has an infection in his stomach, something from the cancer. And when Kizzy finds him and takes him to the hospital, it's soul-crushing because he just cannot spend more time there. He is begging, but he has to go. Let me say here though, that the snot in this scene is a lot. Like, it's a bit overboard and it's gross. So if you're easily gagged, look away now. Kizzy is going to get a call from Manny at dinner one night, and she tells her parents she has to go. Understand that through all of this, they have all become so close. Kizzy will meet Manny and JP at the church, where Manny will say he wants to attend his own funeral and wants to hear their eulogies. He asks them each to write one, so they will of course fulfill his wish. So JP gives his eulogy, and it's so good. He says even with no sight, I will always remember his face. He will also either here or just a bit earlier have a great line about how he misses porn. Love this guy. What a great friend he's been. Kizzy will go next, and she'll speak about her love and how he saved her and gave her life. She loves him deeply, and he loves her as well. She says he will leave me, and this is so hard for her to say and hard for him to hear. But Manny is listening and taking it all in. He's looking weak in his wheelchair, but hangs on every single word. Kizzy will narrate here and say, Manny left us 2 days later. We lost him. And even as I say this, my heart breaks. These two young kids so in love, and fate has stolen so much from them. Kizzy will be the one to go on, but she will be better and happier for having had Manny in her life. Who would have thought that she would outlive Manny? Kizzy has grown so much as a person, and he showed her who she could be and what life could offer. Better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. We're going to see everyone in the park watching JP's movie, and with scenes of the movie playing on a big screen, we see that Kizzy smiles. She will remember Manny and his love always. Their love story captured on film. She will have it always. We hear Manny say, Siri, and Kizzy smiles and says, Siri. The end. This is the saddest movie ever, but it's so beautiful that you have to suffer through it because it's worth every single tear. 10 out of 10. So well told, and the acting is impeccable. So well done and so believable. I feel like this movie spoke louder when translated from English. It somehow feels deeper and the love feels more real. You forget you're reading subtitles and just watch the magic between these two unfold. So please tell me what you would do if you were Kizzy. Would you have done the movie and trusted Manny? Would you travel the world to see your favorite singer? Could you love knowing you will lose in the end? That your story will end too soon? I will leave you to your tissues and wish you well. Perhaps the difference between what is miserable and that which is spectacular lies in the leap of faith. #self-musing. Sushant Singh, Rajput.